Observe Andre Thomas as he conducts the Florida State University Singers in his arrangement of Keep Your Lamps. Note the relationship between his conducting gestures and the choir's performance.
Keep your lamps trimmed and burning, keep your lamps trimmed and burning, keep your lamps trimmed and burning. The time is drawing nigh.
I hear a significant difference between the two performances, and the only verbal instruction given was to sing the section again. Consider what a strong role the nonverbal plays. Early in our lives, our brain begins to store the necessary information that allows us to effectively relate to objects and to express emotions to each other. We use nonverbal language to encourage and to regulate verbal communication with each other. It gives added meaning to our speech, or it substitutes for it. Our experiences may be coded with positive emotional reactions or with negative ones. Some nonverbal signals have specific meaning only if one has taken the time to learn what they represent. But there is a wealth of nonverbal communication that appears to have a wider common understanding than words do. We have been conditioned to respond to a wide variety of sights, sounds, and signals. The alarm clock starts our day off with a physical response, and throughout the day, the brain seems to have cataloged each person's unique way of performing so as to unthinkingly carry out many of the social and physical needs of our lives. We establish our grasping technique so that it is different for a glass than it will be for a spoon. Our eyes perceive the objects, and on the basis of that visual perception, our brain automatically sends a message which causes our hand to take on the appropriate shape to allow us to pick up the box and select an object from within it and give it to someone with no conscious thought other than the task to be performed. We walk, we lift, we throw. These everyday activities are so much a part of our regular life's catalog of common physical responses that a mime can tell a story without a word being spoken. Our response to nonverbal cues is such an integral part of our lives that most of us are unaware of the subtlety of its impact. Throughout this video, my friend Stephen Zilke, a graduate student in conducting, will assist me in our investigation into the degree to which the extensive nonverbal language is etched in the minds and the bodies of choir members, and to help demonstrate how it can work for or against the conductor. To determine the degree to which choirs react to the physical stature and facial expressions of conductors, let's observe 5 Florida State graduate students who were asked to lead the singing of the old familiar round Dona Nobis Pacem, without the use of the conducting pattern. The only instruction the choirs were given was to sing the round with each conductor. Instructions to the conductors were given privately so that the choir heard no verbal instructions. I asked Janet to stand tall and smile as she led the singers. Matt was asked to use a very bright facial affect. Jim was given no spatial instructions. Julie was asked to exaggerate the mouthing of the words and to be very much in charge. And Alan was asked to lead the singing with slouching posture and in an indifferent manner. Listen to a small part of the round as performed under the leadership of the 5 conductors.
Dona Nobis, Dona
The choir sounds different to me with each of the conductors and convinces me that the choir members sufficiently empathized with each leader so as to change their vocal production. Obviously, the entire body is the conducting gesture. I was especially interested in hearing the change in the ah vowel in response to each conductor. It might be easy to assume that these choir members are so responsive only because of their years of singing experience. But listen to the conductors lead the round with a non-auditioned college choir and then the Lincoln High School choir. Observe the face of the singer juxtaposed next to the conductor in these examples. Not only did the singers copy the facial characteristics of the leaders, but they responded to each conductor in much the same manner as the chamber choir. Each of the choirs, regardless of their age or musical experience, responded in a similar way to each of the conductors. It became evident that not only the manner in which the leader mouthed the words, but also the quality of the facial expression and posture played a major role in determining the overall choral sound. Even though everyone has a unique body structure and facial characteristics, a conductor can alter his or her posture, facial affect, and the shape of the mouth and change the choir's response. Here, Julie and Alan lead the FSU Chamber Choir and then the Lincoln High School Continental Singers in a portion of the round with two different kinds of posture and facial affect display. Notice the difference in the sound. In the following clip, carefully observe the singers positioned at the right of the screen. Note their spontaneous physical reaction to Alan's change in posture. We asked the church choir to sustain the ah vowel on the word dona, and Alan then slowly changed his posture. As Alan lifted his torso and stood tall with both feet energized, the choir's tone seemed more anchored. When Alan repeated the exercise, he changed the shape of his mouth as well as his posture. Alan's mouth position, as well as his posture, seemed to have a very strong influence on the singer's vocal production. As you can see, Stephen, the stature and facial expression of the conductors sent unique messages to the choir. Your build and your bone structure, along with your normal facial expressions, will send a unique message. That is a given for all of us. But we have the ability to use our physical characteristics to affect changes in the performance of the choir. If you assume a nice, comfortable, upright position that is suitable for healthy singing, no matter what other physical characteristics you have, you give the choir an appropriate model to emulate. In this exercise we just observed, the singers had to watch the face and the body of the leaders for all the necessary messages. But even if the leaders had used the traditional conducting pattern, the face and the body would still send a message. Observe that all of the conducting postures achieved a slight or markedly different response. I asked Kevin to conduct the round using the traditional conducting gesture. Focus your attention on the position of Kevin's arm and hand.
No, 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 is pacem, pacem. No, 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 is pacem, pacem.
The size and the weight of the conducting pattern obviously have a strong effect on the character of the music. I don't believe there is a right and a wrong way to conduct, but I believe that what I do as a conductor gets a predictable response. Of course, choirs can learn to understand a conductor's vocabulary, even if it has nothing to do with the common meaning we would normally give to the gestures that are being used. Just as we can learn sign language or a referee's signals, we can learn to understand an individual's unique conducting gestures. If, however, we can make use of gestures that have common meaning, we save valuable rehearsal time and avoid the chance of sending mixed messages. Virtually all nonverbal messages a conductor sends have some common meaning with daily activities. We all pick up and hold a small object differently than we do a large object. If I want my choir to sing quietly when I use a large gesture, I have to teach the choir that this large gesture does not always have the meaning we normally attribute to it in our daily lives. You and I decided that when you guest conducted the Lincoln High School choir in the Certain Chanson, you would first use large gestures. As we expected, they sang mezzo forte, as the editor had suggested. You then asked them to sing more quietly, but used the same large gesture. The size of your gesture made it obviously difficult for them, and it was quite painful to observe.
Please sing that softer.
When message and gesture agree, the choir appears to sing more quietly, and it is certainly a more natural response for the choir. When Kevin simply changed from large movement to small, listen to how the chamber choir responded to him. Most of us probably developed our conducting technique out of frustration. We waved our hands and our choir didn't do what we hoped they would, and so we probably reacted to it with exaggerated movement that expressed our frustration better than it did our musical intentions. This expressive conductor used so much movement that it was not possible for the choir to read his intentions clearly. He will undoubtedly have to resort to some verbal explanation. But talking our singers into an understanding of our mixed messages can be and often is a time-consuming, laborious task. While there are many fine choirs with conductors who send mixed messages, but effectively use words to explain them away, Numerous studies indicate that for most conductors, talking is the least efficient tool. Ensembles tend to enjoy rehearsals and be more on task when they are performing. Thus, the more meaningful the conductor's nonverbal communication, the more efficient and satisfying the rehearsal time should be. With efficient use of gesture, a poetic use of words brings added meaning to the process. Let me emphasize again, there is no right or wrong way to conduct, but the most efficient conducting makes use of the entire body to encourage a natural response in keeping with the musical effect the conductor wishes to achieve. Since our response to the nonverbal is such an integral part of our lives, most of us give little thought to it. Even though my experience has convinced me that choirs respond to conductor movement without realizing it. To make certain singers consciously relate to movement in their music making, they can be asked to imitate some things the conductor does to dramatize the relationship. It may be that all of the examples on this tape will be very easy for you to hear, but probably some of them will not be as easily heard as others. Artistic music making is filled with subtleties that are not obvious. I urge you to resist selecting what you consider to be the best sound, but rather to note the difference in tone quality, pitch, or dynamics, and observe the nonverbal stimulus which seems to cause it. Thus one might find some nonverbal tools to immediately make a change if the choir is not fulfilling the conductor's musical expectations. One of the best starting places in the process of sensitizing choir members to subtleties in sound is to let them experience the four functions of rhythm, visually, orally, and kinetically. There are four functions of rhythm. One is the downbeat function. The second is the away from the downbeat function. The third is the offbeat function. And the fourth is the into the downbeat function. The character of any piece of music is determined by the number of those elements that are in the music. All downbeats will affect music in a different way than all of another function. Let's express the four functions with our hands. First, there is the downbeat function, which is hold one hand here and strike it. Go. Beautiful. If we then go in this direction, both hands, that is the away from the downbeat function. And if we hold one hand up here and touch it with the other, and that's the offbeat function. And the into is both hand, or one hand hitting the other going in this direction. Now, let's do all four of those hand claps again. Good. Those four functions in music are the only ones that we've been able to discover over the years. If we have the downbeat function always in this, do this with me. Most audiences go into automatic pilot on the fourth of those functions. Do it again. Notice what happens if we have a downbeat and two aways. Notice if the downbeat, we have motion on it so that the hand is in movement as we hit it. Do that again. Now do that downbeat and then two aways and listen to the difference. Now make this first one lighter. Make it heavy. Lighter with the hand in movement up. I want you to also try this with your hand hitting here and then hit it out here. Ready, go. Again. Out here. 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 Was there a difference? Even the release of a note can take on the various qualities of rhythm. While this is subtle and everyone may not initially hear the difference, listen to the quality of the release of the chord when we use the four functions to demonstrate. The rhythmic weight and function of individual notes in relationship with one another is the basis for all effective music making. And so this understanding can be the basis for linking the visual and the kinetic as we evaluate the oral. Some movements we use repeatedly in our daily life express the down, away, off, and into functions of rhythm. We pound nails and we use our finger as a baton to make a strong point. These strong down movements send a different meaning than a gentle pat on the head or a light touch of our fingers as we use a computer. The throwing of a ball demonstrates the away function. Tossing a paper into a trash can is something we regularly do, and it demonstrates the into function. The offbeat function is most clearly demonstrated as the point where movement stops before a strong down. Note the top of the hammer stroke and the use of the finger as a baton. When Tony uses a heavy beat, he encourages a strong downbeat quality. Here's how the Lincoln High School Choir sang the first line of Mac Wilberg's Foom, Foom, Foom.
On December 25, sing foom, foom, foom. On December 25, sing foom, foom, foom.
When I simply took Tony's arm and helped him conduct with less motion, the quality of singing changed dramatically.
On December 25, sing foom, foom, foom. On December 25, sing foom, foom, foom.
To sensitize the choir to hear and experience the various relationships of rhythmic function within a musical phrase, it is possible to use some physical movement while they sing. I asked the choir all to sing the opening soprano line of Foom, 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 and we used downbeat functions at first.
On December 25, sing foom, foom, foom.
With this movement this way, ready, go.
On December 25, sing foom, foom, foom.
This one.
On December 25, sing foom, foom, foom.
This one.
On December 25, sing foom, foom, foom.
By incorporating the movements we used as we investigated the various rhythmic functions, it is easy for us to see, hear, and feel the different ways the phrase can be performed.
On December 25, sing foom, foom, foom.
Foom, foom, foom. Do that.
Foom, foom, foom.
Listen to it this way. Foom.
Foom, foom, foom. Foom, foom, foom.
The other way.
Foom, foom, foom.
Do you hear any difference in those two? Just sing the foom, fooms.
Foom, foom.
The other way.
Foom, foom.
This way.
Foom, foom.
As we experiment with functions, we soon see a number of the possibilities that exist in the shaping of a phrase. It's away, 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 a down, off, away. Got it? Here we go.
On December 25, sing foom, foom, foom.
Now, how will I put that into my conducting?
On December 21st, sing foom, foom, foom.
Now listen to the first note conducted two different ways. The quality of the first note of the phrase is significantly different, it seems to me. In the following conducting lesson, Betsy and I demonstrate some rhythmic qualities that can be induced by certain arm movements.
On December.
And this way.
On December. On December. On December.
Again.
On December. On December.
The eighth note on the word December took on the offbeat function when Betsy threw the forearm toward her shoulder, and it took on the away function when she let the whole arm lift more gently. Now listen to the quality of the downbeat on the word 20 as Betsy connects it to the preceding eighth note.
On December 12th.
The other way.
On December 12th.
Let's not forget that many elements are simultaneously at work here. Listen to the tone color as well as the rhythmic quality of the phrase as you conduct in two different ways. Note the degree to which your posture and facial expression are tied into the process.
La la la, je le joue, je le joue, je le joue, je le se dire, la la la, je le vous dirai, la la la, je le vous dirai. La la la, je le joue, je le joue, je le joue, je le se dire, la la la, je le vous dirai, la la la, je le vous dirai.
A strong, rapid upward movement of the hand and arm implies that an emphatic downward motion will follow and demonstrates power or emphasis. This more relaxed upward movement implies a gentle downbeat. The strength of the upbeat determines the degree to which the choir perceives the down function. If we think of the first note of a piece as the commencement note, with the major downbeat of the phrase to occur at any given time, it becomes important to vary the quality of the first beat of the measure. If the music calls for a piano legato phrase, a movement which demonstrates the strong down rhythm will probably interfere with the legato phrase. As an example, although I have the choir physically use the gentle away function, when I conduct downbeats, the mixed signal overrides my request for a legato line. This is the quality I want. Got that in your mind? Do it with your hands. Ready, go. And
On December 25th, sing boom, boom, boom.
let's try it one more time.
On December 25th, sing boom, boom, boom.
Okay, now keep doing that. Ready, go. And
On December 25th, sing boom, boom, boom.
thank you. Do it again. And
On December 25th, sing boom, boom, boom.
easy. Let me do it this way. Ready, and
On December 25th, sing boom, boom, boom.
Jason is conducting the men of the non-auditioned college choir in Mendelssohn's Die Nachtigall. Note that each of the downbeats seems to have about the same weight.
Die Nachtigall, sie war entfernt.
When I take his hand and have him lighten the downbeat, there is a significant difference in the weight of the first downbeat. Compare the light and then the heavier downbeat. This way. Concentrate only on the phrase sung by the men and notice how a variety of levels of conducting affect the phrase. The degree of tension in the arm affects the weight of the tone as well. As Jason Obi conducts Foom Foom Foom, it would probably work to his advantage to release some of the tension in his arm.
On December 21st, sing foom, foom, foom. On December 21st, sing foom, foom, foom.
Good, wonderful. I spend time helping him relax the arm, and after he has released both upper and forearm tension, the tone seems remarkably freer. Listen to the quality of Foom 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 with and without arm tension. It's incredible what tension in this part of the arm does to us, whether or not we play the piano or play the cello or the violin or conduct. The more tension there is here, the more there is a tendency for that to be translated into tension in the shoulders and this whole area of the singer. Let's try that now with this nice and relaxed, and listen to it. Ready, and go.
On December 21st, sing foom, foom, foom.
Again, one more time. It's marked mezzo piano. Notice what happens if we do it this way.
On December 21st, sing foom, foom, foom.
I want you to listen to Foom Foom Foom. What happens on Foom 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 with this nice relaxed position. Ready, and go, please.
On December 21st, sing foom, foom, foom.
Now do it this way. Ready? The other way with a little more tension in it. Do it. Yeah, wait.
On December 21st, sing foom, foom, foom.
Now with the relaxation in it. Ready?
On December 21st, sing foom, foom, foom.
Can we do that one more time? Take the tension all the way out. Ready, and go, please.
On December 21st, sing foom, foom, foom.
Compare one note with and without arm tension. Without tension. Often the first beat of the phrase needs to have forward motion. Listen as Chris conducts the church choir in Mark Hayes and The Father Will Dance.
And the Father will dance over you with joy.
If you prefer, as I do, that the first beat should have more forward motion, it is possible to impose some away function on the downbeat. So that the choir will more fully understand, I take some time to experiment with the quality of the downbeat, and I ask them to copy my movement.
And the Father will dance over you with joy.
Wonderful. Now take your hand and go like that and listen to it. Ready, go.
And the Father will dance over you with joy.
Now, instead of clapping your hand, just go like this, like you pretend that you're doing it, and then like that, and listen to the difference. Ready, go.
And the Father will dance over you with joy.
The other way with the hand moving.
And the Father will dance
Good. Now just
over
say
you.
and the two ways. Don't actually hit it. Just get the feeling of it. Ready, go, and. The first and with it down like that. And all I want to use is and. There you go.
And.
Now with movement.
And.
Good. Do that one more time. Down again.
And.
With movement.
And.
Here, Chris and I demonstrate the kind of conducting gesture that helps create what the choir has just experienced, so that we can clearly differentiate between a downbeat that has much weight and one that promotes forward motion.
And.
Good. Again.
And.
While we label the first beat of every measure a downbeat, there are a multitude of possibilities for that quality within a phrase. Every ictus, whether it is an attack, within the phrase, or a release, can take on that particular quality and weight. Observe as Steve conducts in 4/4 time and alters the placement of the downbeat function on each of the 4 beats. 1. Right. Listen as Ziggy conducts several bars of John Rudder's Gaelic Blessing. Good. I think that one of the most valuable things you can do as a conductor is to sometimes listen to just one bar. When the movement between the second and the third beats has too much motion, it appears as if the conductor is throwing the hand toward the beat, suggesting strength on beat 3. This is what is taking place here. By limiting the motion following beat 2, the third beat will be lightened. When I take Ziggy's hand and conduct the pianist in the first bar, notice the difference in the third beat.
Okay.
Instead of. Try that and see if that doesn't give more direction to the line. Oh, you good. Now keep going. That was lovely. Do it one more time. Here Matt conducts the pianist in the introduction to Mark Hayes and The Father Will Dance. One more time. Hear the difference in the sound when we change the quality of the preparatory beat. Just the first note, and, or. As with all other movements in conducting, the rounded beat can work for us or against us. When I lead the choir in the singing of Are You Sleeping with a rounded downbeat, listen to the difference in dynamics, quality of sound, and of pitch.
Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping?
The size of the beat affects the sound as well as the shape of the beat. Listen to just the first note with the chamber choir, conducted first with a rounded beat and then with a pointed beat. As you demonstrated earlier, Steve, the strong downward movement that springs up gives the strongest down function. Many times a conductor will give the first beat of the measure a clear point and then throw the hand out in a circular motion on some other beats in the measure. This happens most often on beats 2 and 3 in 4/4 time, right, and on beat 2 in 3/4 time. Note what the looped beat that Jason uses in Die Nachtigall does to the quality of beat 2. Now, with point. Listen as Brian conducts a few bars of John Rutter's Gaelic Blessing. While you may not easily hear what happens during the second beat, that is, from the moment the beat begins until beat 3 occurs, when I ask the choir to sing repeated eighth notes to Brian's beat, I'm certain you will hear what happens during beat 2. The beat that Brian uses is absolutely legit. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. It's nice and fluid, and it keeps that. Sometimes when I have this rhythm, ya-da, everybody go, da-da-da-da-da-da with me, go, da-da. Let's put it on a pitch, da-da, ready, go, da. With a point, it's then this way, ready. Now listen to it with point. Just sing da 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 for me. Go. And. Yes. Okay. One more time. Ready? Go. And. When there's point and. Listen to the two sounds as they are juxtaposed. Karen conducts certain beats in the Deposuit from the Pergolesi Magnificat with a rounded beat. She is really not aware of it, and if you listen to two examples, she does not do it consistently. But the conducting class sings differently for the rounded and the pointed beats. Yeah, where do you think that phrase probably goes? To what? To sedes. And you still want it, but you still want it firm, don't you? You want a nice forte?
Okay.
Good. It helps to tell people where you want. But let's do it again. Listen to what happened to se. What happened to that note?
Okay.
And listen to what happens to de. Just listen to de. Just sing de and nothing else. De. Again. De. Did you hear it? Mm-hmm. Now, notice what happens if you take your hand and you go like this on de. Ready, go. De. Okay. Was it different? Mm-hmm. Could you hear any difference? Do it that way one more time. This is the way you did it. Ready, go. De. And like this. So anytime you put what, when you put, notice what happened, now I want to do it one more time with your hand going in this direction and listen to what happens to the sound. Now if it goes that way, listen to it. There's something about lateral movement and vertical movement. I'm convinced that if my hand is going in an upward position, I'm going to probably have control of the sound for a longer period of time than I do if it goes in this way. I kind of give up and so notice, just sing, keep singing da, and we'll move it in this direction, and then we'll start moving up and listen what happens. Go da. And so that if you want control of the or movement in the sound, why the upward movement is always going to have more power than the lateral movement. The lateral movement will make it slide. And if you go like this on day, listen to what happens. Do it that way, and then do it like that, with this relaxed. Ready, go, and the other way. Again, with it going up and out like that. Ready. And now with the slide. Do you hear any difference? Mm-hmm. One more time. Yeah. So now we have to go all the way to that. And so that means that this is going to be the lowest one. So now let's do it. Let me take your hand. Go on and sing. Ready, and. If you want to go to there, well, make sure that's the lowest of all the planes. Okay. Try that one more time. If you think the conducting class has been conditioned to respond so carefully, listen to what happens when Karen Guest conducts the middle school choir. Her total time in front of the ensemble was less than 5 minutes, and she gave them no verbal instructions. In the phrase, love is a song that you sing in your heart, listen to the quality of the sound on the words song and heart.
Love is a song that you sing in your heart with a joyful melody. Love is a song that you sing in your heart.
Here is Jim conducting the Fairview Choir in Julie Knowles' Shall I Dream a Dream?
Shall I dream a dream? Catch a falling star.
And now I want you to do it this way. 1, 2, that way. Ready? Sing Shall I Dream? The one not before. Yes. Now sing.
Shall I dream?
Sing Dream.
Dream.
Sing Dream again.
Dream.
Sing Dream again.
Dream.
Keep singing it. Just keep singing it. Dream. Just sing dream. Anytime you have movement like that, why they sag in pitch. And if you go to this point and you go like, now sing dream again, listen to what happens now. As long as you're in an upward movement, something good happens to the tone. Second, I go like that. So if I go one, shall I dream a dream? Do that for me. Ready? 2 bars before. 1, 2, 3. 2, sing.
Shall I dream a dream?
Now with point, it's like this. 1. Listen to this.
Shall I dream a dream?
It is important to remember that a gesture which may work against you at one point in a particular piece of music and may actually interfere with the character of the piece can be the exact gesture that will bring the appropriate quality to another work. When Andre Thomas wants the choir to slide into a pitch in his arrangement of Keep Your Lamps, the gesture that was in the way in the previous example is just the right gesture for this spiritual.
Keep your lamps trimmed and burning.
Although we have been emphasizing the difference between the rounded and the pointed beat, remember that factors other than the hand and arm movement are still at work in determining the response of the ensemble. The size and evenness of beat, and of course body and facial effect, are being read by the choir.
La la la,
Would you conduct it that way once by yourself? Conductors who always conduct with the arms and shoulders high and with the hands extended forward in a reaching gesture may be able to convince their singers that such a gesture has some other meaning, but the normal life relationship with that gesture will probably still affect the sound. Note the difference in the message Steve sends with his hands here and with his hands here. This positioning will also affect the way the choir breathes. Notice the difference in the breath the choir takes with the conductor's hands in a high position near the throat and with the hands near the belt. That was about as shallow as mine, that's about where mine was. Now put your hand here and with the head even and listen to what happens. And you took it all the way to there. You took it all the way to there. And so the difference in the sound is going to be extreme between a hand, take it one more with your breath, with your hand right here, and now with your hand here. Try to fill up to there with your hand here. Can't do it, can you? Even all of you who've had lots of voice, doesn't do it. And so if I conduct this like this, take your breath, it's going to be a different breath than if I do it like this. The tone seems to be brighter with the hands high, and sometimes with the hands down and into the body, the top note is not so bright, and the pitch seems to be affected slightly as well. Notice the difference in the sound when the arm hangs directly down from the shoulders and when they reach forward. Now try to make that same sound out there. Notice all of the tension that went into your shoulders to do that. Do that one more time. Make that the nice warm sound here. Notice how relaxed your shoulders were. Make that same sound out here. wasn't quite the next sound. Try to make that same sound. Can't do it. Down here. Now make the natural sound out there that you'll have without tension in your shoulders. Here, down here first. Out here is the reaching gesture without tension. But you can actually manufacture a sounds that will be in conflict to the normal gesture that you'd make out here, reaching, which would not be a tense gesture. Because we reach for things all the time. We go shopping, we reach for things, we constantly reach for things, normally without tension. If we reach with tension to manipulate, sometimes that alters our effectiveness, and we'll discover that in some of our conducting. Jeffrey Ames has asked all of the choir to sing the opening alto line in Pergolesi's De Posuit. I asked Jeffrey to conduct just the first note with both hands in close to the body, and then with two hands extended, then with one hand extended, and finally one hand in close to the body. In here. These differences may be hard to hear, but listen to the four sounds juxtaposed. If each successive downbeat is on a higher plane, and if the arm moves forward, there appears to be direction in the line. I would like to have you demonstrate, Stephen, what happens with the sound when you clap even beats from here to there. Listen again to the difference in the way the church choir sings and the Father will dance with two different placements of Chris's hands.
And the Father will dance.
Again.
And the Father will dance.
Here David Childs demonstrates how much the movement of the arms out and in can have on the quality and dynamics of sound. Sometimes looking at the music at the point the choir begins to sing can seriously affect pitch and the weight of the attack. Notice the direction of that, and note the direction of me. Down. I'll do it again. Now I can tell you you're out of tune. I can say, choir, you are out of tune, but I might just as well stand nice Alexander tall, but with my upper body. Try to sing it in tune. You are, aren't you? And this tall body automatically allows that to be more in tune. Although the movement is slight, Michelle tends to lean toward the choir as she gives the initial attack and between phrases. When she conducts the entrance with no head movement, hear how the attack has less weight and is more in tune. There's a wonderful little thing that you do right at the end of the phrase. You go, yeah. just a little bit of that. I want you to do it again. Do it again. That's all right. It's a perfectly legitimate move. The thing that's interesting is that legitimate moves, and that is a legitimate move. All moves are legitimate in conducting, but they get a result. And so, is the result what you want? And that's what I want to deal with. Is that little movement what you want there? Now without it. Note the difference in pitch and direction of tone when Michelle leans forward and when she stands tall. Observe the effect of Karen's upper body movement on the weight and pitch of the final word of the phrase in the next example. Good. And the slight forward movement of the body on se. Let's just show that. Just sing se. And move in like that just a little bit. That's the way you did it. Se. Now tall. With the forward movement. Just sing se and nothing else. Ready, forward. Tall. The drooping hand affects the tone and the pitch. Listen to what happens when Betsy lets her wrist bend on a strong beat. Drooping, wimpy hand. Here we go. Do that one more time. Let me do it for you. Observe Liam Dunch as he conducts a rehearsal of Schubert's Der Tanz with the conducting class. Notice what he is doing with both arm extension and wrist movement. See how the accompanist was affected by the reaching gesture. I'm going to try it in like that once and see what happens. Although Liam avoided the reaching gesture, he still used a drooping hand position when at the point of the beat. I asked the choir to sing only 7 notes of the phrase to draw attention to some key notes in the phrase. Now, do that without your hand. You're going like this. Do that again and listen to it. With your hand going, Joe, ready, go, and. Now, without that doing, really listen to it. Again. With your hand moving. Just sing the first 2 notes. Without your hand move, without your wrist moving. Do it the other way. Without your hand, wrist moving. Which was better in tune?
Oh, the second one.
I would hope that this short investigation of a very complicated procedure gives you some food for thought, Stephen. Efficient conducting makes use of the entire body. Facial expression, posture, hand and arm, position, and movement. Since choir members share an understanding of the nonverbal, we might as well make use of that shared information in our conducting. If we involve the choir in movement which does affect their sound, they become active participants and take on some ownership in the process. It may be helpful if at this point we demonstrate some activities that may be used to assure a visual, an oral, and a kinetic involvement in the part of the choir. It doesn't bother me if some member of the choir thinks it's all silly and won't participate, but I do try to help even the most skeptical person hear some differences in sound. It is only when the choir actually can perceive differences in sound that they become flexible and responsive to nuances that are a part of the most moving performance. Of course, you may have one or more of those singers in your choir who are seemingly oblivious to everything you're doing.
La la la. Je
While a few singers are so programmed that they perform in a given way no matter what a conductor does, most singers will immediately respond to physical activity. Involving the choir in movement keeps them occupied and assures that they watch the conductor. In reality, I believe the choir sees a lot more than most conductors think they do. As you look at the camera, Steve, you see many other things in the room simultaneously. All around the camera as well, peripherally. To make certain that the choir does watch, it's important to do things that make a difference. Have them join you in some nonverbal activity which you model and they imitate. It works for all age levels and all kinds of choirs. I generally use the Ugandan hand clap to get the singers involved and to make them aware of the quality of beats and the length of a beat. Here are a couple of demonstrations of the use of this hand clapping exercise, which I first observed as a regular accompaniment to the singing of a wonderful choir from Uganda. This is the Ugandan hand clap. I first heard this at an international choral festival. The Ugandan choir, every time they sang any piece of music, they accompanied it with this kind of a clap. I have found it very valuable for keeping tempos and helping people get out of automatic pilot by interrupting the beat and showing how much time there actually is between beats. Feel it. The rounded beat of the Ugandan hand clap is a good way to get the attention of the group. It is a valuable aid to help the conductor fill up all the duration of the beat with even motion. It can be used effectively to keep a group together when they are singing polyphonically with a distance problem. The concept of the rounded beat assists us in dealing with mixed metric conducting as well, by extending the beat upward to define the 3 units in the beat in contrast to 2. So, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. So I do that in 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. Good, thank you. Andre Thomas often uses a step clap activity with young singers. They mimic his movements and it keeps them involved and draws attention to qualities of beats, postures, etc.
Goodbye.
While this activity may seem more appropriate for youth groups, it can easily be modified to work with any age. I invited volunteers from Tallahassee area church choirs to come to the campus for a recording session. Only a few of these singers had sung with me before. Would you sing with me? It goes, meo, 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 me. Ready, sing. Meo, 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 me. Well, at the same time, would you take your hands and circle like this? 1, 2, ready, sing.
May-o, 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 may.
That's good. One more time. Ready and sing, please.
May-o, 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 may.
As with most choirs, when the hands are lowered, they quit singing. But through gestures, I indicated that they should keep singing, which they did when we repeated the exercise. I want to immediately draw their attention to the fact that they can change the dynamics, pitch, and the quality of their singing.
Sing, 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 za, 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 za.
And
Sing, 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 za, 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 za.
do that again.
Sing, 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 za, za, za.
Keep your hand go like this. Back. There is a reason for swinging the arms out and then in and up at the waist level or below. It encourages a fuller breath, and it draws attention to the middle of the body, which is the power center. When first introduced, some singers may reverse the movements, but I give them a chance to discover that on their own. Note that I do not rely on the piano. I want the choir members to have to watch in order to attempt to copy the movements I am demonstrating. By stopping in the midst of the exercise to use movement to change some questionable pitch relationships, as well as tone quality, I draw their attention to the variations in sound and make certain that it is their movement that is responsible for the change. This gives the choir some ownership in the process and provides us with some mutual nonverbal language. When I introduce the same exercise to the Lincoln High School singers, I expect them to find the exercise unusual and perhaps even a little humorous. I assume that it will take several repetitions before they begin to feel the relationship between our movement and their sound. Take your hands and circle like this as you sing, so they come up in front of you. Ready and go.
Sing, 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 za, 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 za.
One more time.
Sing, 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 za, 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 za.
Thank you. And up a half step.
Sing, 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 za, 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 za.
Very good. And up a half step.
Sing, 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 za, za, za.
One more time, ready?
Sing, 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 za, 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 za.
We are attaching movements to sound. The singer's visual and oral and kinetic senses are all involved. I stop at different points in the exercise when it is repeated to keep the singer's mind in gear. I consciously make an effort to release any tension that comes into my body as I attempt to bring energy to the exercise.
Sing, 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 za, 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 za.
And
Sing, 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 za, 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 za. Sing, 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 za, 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 za. Sing, 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 za, 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 za.
In the following example, the swinging arm exercise is used with the church choir sopranos with the expectation that it will enhance their singing of the Hallelujah from Beethoven's Mount of Olives.
Now with your circles. 1, 2, ready, sing.
Stephen, to reiterate, the purpose of involving the choir in the movement is threefold. First, the singer is mentally and physically involved. Secondly, the movement appears to give energy to the singing. And thirdly, it provides a mutual understanding of some gestures we can use to effect a change in pitch, timbre, dynamics, or rhythm during the rehearsal and in concert. When the choir is asked to use movement as they sing, it is important to draw their attention to the subtle differences in sound. Movements which vary the quality of rhythm or pitch and change dynamics or tone quality often affect more than one element. Not everyone will necessarily hear the differences when such things are first introduced. We often listen according to predetermined criteria. Don't limit yourself. If you only hear a difference in dynamics, it is still a difference. If you only hear a difference in pitch, it is still a difference. If the vowel sound changes, that is a difference as well. The brain is coordinating the sight, sound, and kinetic involvement and evaluating the feeling, the shape, the nuance in sound in a very helpful way. Involving the singers in the specific movements with the conductor should help them develop a deeper understanding of the meaning of the conductor's nonverbal vocabulary. The most effective rehearsals are based on mutual trust between singer and conductor. The fewer mixed messages we send as conductors, the more we can trust that our singer's response will match our intention. I am convinced that there is no correct way to conduct. But there is a strong relationship between a conductor's nonverbal messages and the choir's spontaneous reaction to them. It is our intention that this project provides stimulation for self-evaluation and experimentation rather than to be considered a method of conducting. What they see is what you get.